right, we're live.
All right. Happy Monday morning.
Happy Monday morning, everyone.
I'm Carrie Sparks with Pioneer Title, and welcome to Monday. And our goal this morning is to give you some business design snapback techniques. And on behalf of Pioneer Title, I hope you have a wonderful day, had a great weekend, and we're ready to help and support you as you grow your business. This particular segment is really for everybody. And I'm here with one of my amazing loan officers who's known for his business design and everything. He teaches classes with me every year on business planning. And typically, Chris and I are talking about this in September, October, November, and not in May. So this is new for us, and this is kind of our snapback. But you know, it is what it is. And in the word of Tom Ferry, we're all learning to pivot. So whether you sell widgets, title insurance, mortgage, or real estate, doesn't really matter. We're all learning to do this. So Chris and I are doing this every Monday morning at 9 o'clock. We want to keep them short and to the point, give you some tidbits to be able to take forward in your week and in your business plan. But I'll turn it over to Chris. This is going to be a conversation format. We, of course, invited our realtors and other partners to join us, but you're only going to see Chris and I on the screen, and then I'll be monitoring the chat box. So we'll go from there.
All right. Well, again, good Monday morning to everyone. I hope everyone had a exciting weekend here, or at least survived another weekend in here in COVID and enjoyed their fooling around in their pool or trying to keep their kids entertained. I know that's what we do at our house. I want to thank Carrie for putting this together. Again, my name is Chris Papaccio. I'm with eMortgage Management. Been a mortgage guy here for oodles and oodles of years. Love the business planning aspect, working with our partners and realtors to help them build their business. Again, Carrie and I put this together because we saw an opportunity that a lot of people are concerned or trying to figure out where to move to next. Carrie's word is pivot. We're going to be coming out of this here, hopefully very soon, at least Arizona's the next 2 weeks. And we want to be able to have everyone launch into a productive spring buying season so that we don't miss a step. We want, people we work with, the realtors that we're talking to now, give them some tidbits here to help them, hit the ground running versus, starting off as if it's January all over again. And that's, kind of really the goal of what we want to do with this. So with that in mind, some of the basic stuff that we had talked about last week, we had a follow-up conversation with some people, and what we thought we wanted to kind of talk about initially to this week was going to be about fear, the fear that holds us back, fear that's concerning us, and having an honest conversation. I mean, it could be anything that you're still concerned you're going to get sick from COVID. It could be fear about getting on the phone and calling someone. It could be fear about kids or family. I mean, there's tons of things we could have fears about. Step one, I think, is always recognizing what those are. I'm a big proponent of making lists and writing stuff down so I can see it. And I think once you can do that, we don't want to be under this dark cloud, especially if we're trying to build a business and we're trying to expand. Carrie and I both work out of glass half full kind of lifestyles. And I think once you write down that fear and acknowledge it, it's really easy to find a way to get around it, through it, phone a friend and say, this is what I'm concerned about. What are you doing? Would you agree, Carrie, or what would you think?
Yeah, Chris and I were talking before we went live on Facebook a little bit about the world that we're living in, and every morning I start my day with reading an excerpt of The Secret. So what I think about, I bring about, everyone's heard that before, and I make the decision to have a great day. I make a decision to be positive. I make a decision to bring good things into my life. And I think there's so much fear that we're around right now. I think it's unfortunately just like good things are contagious or negatives are contagious. And I'm really hearing from all the people that I'm talking with right now how important it is to surround yourself with good and positive people. I have a personal business coach that I work with. I work with Daryl Turner, and he has a saying that always is sitting in front of me, that is garbage in, garbage in. That just like we look at our kids and what movies they're watching and how it affects them, the same thing goes for us as adults. What are we putting inside of our heads right now? What are we manifesting right now? I work with realtors all across the state of Arizona, as well as loan officers. And I'm really still in a place where I'm seeing people stuck, which is where, but I'm seeing the complete opposite as well.
Yeah.
Which is where Chris and I were kind of going on this whole conversation about fear and overcoming call reluctance and stuff like that, is that we're watching kind of a pattern develop. And my realtors are telling me that they're out there working. The same group of people that are typically working between, Halloween and the first week of January are out there working right now, and they're actually pivoting, and they're doing a lot of business. My loan officers too. I mean, Chris, you and I've talked about how much business is going through all the pipelines with different with lending professionals across the country. What was the statistic that you gave me like a week or two ago about the volume that's going through right now?
Say it one more time. It cut out there for a second.
The volume that's going through the pipelines right now inside of lending.
Oh, I mean, it's astronomical. The amount of
years.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been this much volume nationally across the lending pipeline in about 2 years. I mean, and when you look at, to tag what you were saying too, is there's always going to be that negative piece in the news that you wake up and read every morning. And the problem is the negativity is going to run, drives ratings and gets people interested and gets people in that swirl of drama. If you can find the positive aspect of something, it's going to be a law of attraction. You're going to attract 10 times more people by having that positive personality. And I think as many articles as you and I share and I put out there on my Facebook and my business page and stuff about what's going on in the market, it's right down the middle of there's just as much negative stuff that could be happening that we don't, under the era we don't know. But if you start looking at some of the numbers that have been coming out, leading right before into March, we were taking off like a rocket ship here, headed into the spring buying season. Home values are up. Rents were up for the investors. Loan volumes are up. They were projecting to have a really busy buying season, high demand. These are all really positive things that we should all be, thinking back on, so that when we get back in our saddle here, that we can go out and do that. You mentioned kind of fear about calls or being on a call. I think even more than that fear is you got to really put yourself in that right mindset to start making those calls, especially with all this, working from home lately. If you just, got an argument about your kid on how to do a math problem, or, about they can't have a friend over, or, whatever, that's not the right time you want to go and make calls. Whether you want to you had time blocked it for the morning or the afternoon. If something just happened, give yourself an hour to cool off or push it off a day, and it's still going to be there, because,
you have to be doing something. And that's what I'm hearing a lot of people do, is they're getting so caught up in the fear that they're not doing what they need to do to bounce out of this or
correct.
Back.
Well, I think
this morning too, that I mentioned some of my fear and how social media, just even doing these things live, there's not something that I like. That's right. It's not who I am, or not who I've been up until a couple of weeks ago. And I've had to go, okay, my realtors, many of them are working from home, like many do anyways.
Right.
They're out showing homes, they're doing those things, but they're not doing them the same. I'm not able to reach in a responsible way to meet with them face to face. So this is my way to get, like with you, in front of our community,
Yep.
have these conversations and share and hopefully motivate. I mentioned that the whole social media thing has been a pivoting moment for me. I've had to take classes on how to be visible, even when I don't want to be out there as much as I'd like to. And I've had this thing in my head, and somebody confronted me about it last week about who got inside of your head. That was the quote. Who got inside of your head?
Right.
And because my personal brand has never been one of posting a lot on the different social media platforms other than maybe once per day. Um, Using hashtags appropriately. So I'm indexing what I'm doing on the different social media platforms and being present. So I know you and I are both Instagram, Twitter,
Yep.
LinkedIn, here, professional page, we're all over the place. Um, but that's the way, not only if we're going to talk about it with people, we have to be doing it too. And
Correct.
I've had to be doing it more than my comfort zone has been traditionally up until recently.
Yeah.
So, you
Well, I
know,
mean, in this whole form of media, I mean, it can be scary if you've never done it before. Especially talking with realtors and stuff. If you're trying to do like Zoom open houses or Zoom conference calls, or talking to buyers, walking through the house. I mean, it's you gotta you gotta get dressed because you're not used to getting dressed if you have working from home. Typically, if you see all the TikTok and stuff. Um, but I think that, as well as oh, I don't know, I had an idea just went right out of my head. But
but we're doing it differently. Sometimes we're
correct.
doing it with masks and gloves on when we're doing having open houses. And
Mhm.
I mean, you and I both live and work primarily in the Southeast Valley of the Phoenix area,
Correct.
Scottsdale. That's kind of our turf. But regardless of where it's at, I'm hearing stories from inside of our sales team of open houses with people lined up out the door just to try to get in. So the idea that people are not showing up for open houses, yes, some showings were down like 40% a few weeks ago.
Right.
We're hearing stories now of people coming back. And those people who are preparing to
Right.
come back with a huge summer potentially, at least in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling you'll probably agree with me. What a place to be. Granted, it's getting hot. It is hot. We'll go ahead and admit that. Now that that's off the table, um, our
Just bring a lot of water. You're fine.
our economy in Arizona has been amazing. This is all
Yes.
my personal opinion, but I
Hmm.
guess you can line it up with facts. Our housing has been crazy with what it's been attracting from other states, whether it's California, New York, Illinois, Colorado. People are flocking to Arizona in droves. And through most of this whole virus, I've been able to, I mean, probably getting a better tan here in Arizona than you would if my hometown, my home state of Minnesota. Um, and it's
Well,
been a place to be, and I feel very safe in my world. And I kidded around on Facebook yesterday. We went up to the mountains. I felt like I was on a jailbreak, and, and but it's time to start the momentum and start the planning, and get
correct.
past the fear and get excited
Mhm.
about what lies ahead of us. And
Right.
everybody's going to be different. Everybody's situation is different. But the fact is that we are going to come back. And why not prepare for a snapback and get excited about it and have all the tools in your toolbox ready to go and
Correct.
put in place, and have made the phone calls to the people that are in your sphere that maybe you felt reluctant to call. But Chris, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, if you've got a different experience, but more people are picking the phone up and having conversations right now than
I
in
mean,
a
I,
very long time.
no, exactly. I mean, I was saying, I mean, the realtors that I interact with, I mean, all of them are the ones that have listings. They're getting top dollar. They're going into, bidding wars, that type of stuff. So the stuff that is for sale is still selling. It's not like it's sitting on the market for oodles and oodles of days. In terms of, calls, if anything, because everyone's trapped at home, it's easier to get a hold of someone. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but you've been trapped in your house all day working away. I mean, typically people are not taking lunch, or they're working through lunch because they can just work at their laptop or whatever. I mean, to see a call of someone that that they know, I mean, that's like a break from their craziness and their trapped life. I mean, that's like a 15-minute escape versus, a drive up north kind of thing. So, I mean, I'm finding with the calls I'm making to my past clients, the realtors that I'm kind of doing a little bit of coaching with, they're having really similar conversations, and the calls don't need to be a hard sales call. It's a really easy, it's a checking in call. It's a caring call of how are you dealing with all this? How's the fam? What's going on? I mean, that could just be a really easy touch base with anyone in your past database. But I would also say that, whoever you were talking to that might have been on the fence before all this, that could become your new, for realtors, potentially easy buyers to call back as well. Because if you've been trapped in your house for a long period of time, that list of, how many trips to Home Depot can I do to make it look like how I really want it to look like? Or, we've painted the walls, we've, done whatever stuff we can do. Do I still like the house? And that could be, I mean, I've been talking to some realtors, and you and I have talked about it, that, those people that were thinking they were going to be in the house maybe 3 to 5, 7 years because, they're just going to live there, after being, quote unquote, trapped in it for a month and a half. You really decide how much you like that house, and, are the windows and the flooring and the space really conducive to you and your kids, or you and your spouse?
Really good, because we were talking yesterday at our house, my husband and I, because my husband is also a part-time realtor, and talking about, everyone talks about location, right? So I put another idea in front of them. How about livability? And his response was, in regards to the home that we are fortunate to have, the livability of our home and how we've been able to enjoy the space has been something we are very fortunate to, if we're going to be in a self-quarantining situation, to be here. But I don't know that that's the case for a lot of people that kind of just were all of a sudden forced to live in a small space, or a space that they didn't like. Right. There's a lot of movement out there, as well as when it comes to the Airbnbs, VRBOs that are coming onto the market now, that are giving all kinds of opportunities to people who were sitting on the fence to become homeowners in this market.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of opportunity. If you want to find negative, if you want to look for fear, you will find it. That goes without saying. You will find it. But work a little harder and find the opportunity to help your customers, to help, call people who you've worked with in the past. It's there. It's absolutely there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't agree with you more. So, yeah, I'm not sure what else to talk about. I mean, no one in our business loves getting on the phone, or there's very few people that are super comfortable getting on the phone. And the ones that are always crush it. But
there's scripts out there for that.
There are really easy scripts out there. There are hundreds, and you and I have talked about these too. There are hundreds of YouTube channels that can be kind of affirmation type stuff to get you charged up and revved up to go, as well as, ideas on scripts. I don't think in the world that we're in right now that the script has to be hard selling or hard conversation. I think it's a really easy, passive, it's a caring piece of the conversation. To what you were saying about livable space, if you believe all the stuff, some of the stuff you're seeing on the news, and they're talking about, this is, we have one of these major viruses every couple of years, and this has been the worst one that's come across, going back to like SARS and everything else. Well, that livable space thing could become a really big piece, or it could be a really big conversation that realtors are starting to have as they start working with clients going forward. You know, they're showing someone a house. It's not only can you see your family here? Do you like the backyard? Do you like the kitchen and the bathrooms? Could you see yourself being in here for a couple weeks if something happened like what we just went through? I mean, that's a whole different that's a different thing to put in someone's head.
So in other words, garbage in, just
garbage in, garbage in. Mm-hmm.
But start your day with energy, put the right stuff in, get past the fear, make your list. Chris, you and I talked about getting ready for next week.
Yes.
And I think what we're going to be talking about next Monday morning, and we want to keep these as short as we can, 30 minutes or less, but we want to give you enough time to think about it, mm-hmm. that we hopefully will get inside of your head and plant something that's really positive. But right. We're going to talk about organizing your day, maximizing your time so that you can get done what you need to get done. Yes. I took a class last week, and maybe some people have heard about this book, but it's called The 4 Disciples of Execution, and talking about what's important. So we're going to go further on some of those ideas next Monday. But the idea is every Monday just kind of help you launch and pivot or bounce back, or whatever it is, to get your business back in motion.
Yep.
That working with a team that is in it to invest in the folks that choose to work with us. But before we end today, and by the way, if you do not have a relationship with anyone at Pioneer Title, I'd love to be your business development person. I work in sales strategy and all that kind of good stuff. But my focus is really to help realtors build their business. And right now, pivoting so that we maybe rework some of what you had planned to do for 2020. It's going to look different than, if you planned it now versus when we typically talk about it in the fall. But Chris, can you please make sure you give all your licensing information?
Yep. So to dovetail what Carrie said too, I mean, no one has really good relationships. If anyone's looking for a lender, has a client that needs assistance, I'm always here to help. Someone just has questions, I'm always here to assist with those as well. So please reach out to me. My NMLS number is 336676. Remembered it this time. And I'm going to just hold my card up here, but I'm also going to post it online. And what I would tell everyone that's looking at this is, for a little bit of homework for next week, if you'd like to participate, I'm just bringing this on Carrie, is on the Facebook Live below, give us something that motivates you that we can talk about next week. That's all I wanted. It's one thing that motivates you every day. Just give me one thing, because I think that would be a great thing to springboard off of for next week's call.
Fantastic. So we'll have this obviously posted. We'll monitor it, follow up with the folks that joined us today, because we've got some great realtors that are actually on the Zoom. The way it's been set up is that you're not able to participate in this particular conversation other than through chat. So thank you for the realtors that joined us online today.
Make it a great week, everyone, please.
And but everyone have a phenomenal week. Have a fantastic day, and well wishes from my living room that I'm going to be breaking out of very, very soon.
We all are, trust me.
We all are. I've got my plans. I'm making lists and stuff like that. I can't wait to see people in person. But in the meantime, this is the way it is, and I'm going to continue to be responsible and enjoy life, think positive thoughts, whether it's The Secret in the morning or something goofy in the evening on Netflix. Just everyone have a beautiful, beautiful day. And we'll see you next Monday morning at 9 o'clock, and we'll talk about organizing your day and maximizing your time, because there are great tools out there that you can tap into. I'm famous for my cheap to free marketing ideas. Here it comes. Here they come. Anyways, Chris, thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate you. And have a great day. Signing.
All right, you guys too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.